Hello, fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Target exclusive 4-pack of Ultra Magnus, Autobot Bumper, Horri-Bull, and Nemesis Prime from the Transformers Age of the Primes line from Hasbro. Now, I'm kind of surprised. Usually they give these 4-packs like some kind of name, like Clash of the blah 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 or Battle for blah blah blah, but just nothing this time, just Age of the Primes 4-pack. So here we are. So we have Ultra Magnus, which is a redeco of the kind of G1 toy accurate Prime that they did not long ago. Autobot Bumper is a slight retool of the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. Horri-Bull, I think, is a newish mold. It's probably made off of something. But the exciting thing is that completes our Decepticon Junior Headmasters trio. And then we have Nemesis Prime, which is a repaint of animated Optimus Prime. So second time reusing this mold. They did it for Motormaster. I don't think many people bought that. And now they're doing it again as Nemesis Prime. Not really that exciting to me, but he's kind of coming along for the ride. Obviously, Horri-Bull is what I'm most excited about. These two are okay. We'll see how it goes. So in any case, here's the packaging. You can see you got the plastic window here. They have a cool Versus, 2 Autobots over here, 2 Decepticons over here. I really like this artwork on the top. I think that looks really cool as well. Not really anything going on down on the bottom. Over here, you have some artwork of the 2 Decepticons. And then over here on this side, we have some artwork of the 2 Autobots. Again, artwork looks great. And then we've got their alt modes here on the front. Spinning it around to the back, we have product shots for the alt modes and robot modes for all 4, and then showing Kreb, the headmaster for Horri-Bull, which is cool. I'm glad that they made him an actual headmaster, because with Minerva, she's not a headmaster, and that's why I'm really hoping that they will still redo the 3 Autobot Junior Headmasters, because we've never gotten Siren or Hosehead, and the Minerva we got is fine for now as a placeholder, I guess, but I would like one that's an actual headmaster. So at least all 3 of the Decepticon Junior Headmasters are actually headmasters, so I'm excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead and get these guys out of the packaging here, and then we'll take a closer look. So here's everyone out of the box all together. Just wanted to do a little group shot before we take a look at these guys individually. We'll probably go with Bumper first. I think it's kind of funny. They range in size that, you know, each one is just a little bit taller than the last. But yeah, we'll definitely go ahead. We'll start with Bumper here. So here is Bumper, and it's kind of crazy to think that this guy is the same price point as Ultra Magnus, because he is definitely one of the smallest deluxes we've seen. But then again, so was Studio Series 86 Bumblebee, which of course he is based on. And when I say based on, I mean it's pretty much the exact same toy with a different head. Now, the only thing that I would say is these gray pieces are more of kind of a gunmetal gray, whereas here on Bumper, they are definitely black. And you can see that it's painted a little different here, where they've kind of painted the headlights into the bumper, which is kind of a strange choice, but it's exactly the same toy, just with a different head. Maybe it's a slightly lighter and brighter shade of yellow, but it's very, very much the same thing. I mean, I do like how the Autobot symbol here has kind of a silver outline, where Bumblebee didn't have that. I think it looks good, you know, just red on Bumblebee, but I think the silver looks nice over here. But yeah, it's really exactly the same thing, just in kind of a different shade. But he's still cool. I mean, that's kind of what Bumper was, the original toy. The head sculpt, I think, looks really good. I love the blue paint there for the visor, silver paint for the face. Head sculpt looks pretty good. Head is on a ball joint, so you can kind of look up, look down slightly, certainly side to side. You can even tilt side to side ever so slightly. You have a ball joint here in the shoulder, so you can go out to the side and rotate that fully around. Bicep swivel, 90-degree joint there at the elbow. Wrist swivel, got a waist swivel there. Hips can kick pretty far forward, pretty far back, and all the way out to the side. Then you have a thigh swivel there. You have a knee joint, and then, of course, you have ankle tilt. It's kind of mid-shin tilt, but it still counts. And yeah, overall, not too bad. He's got this little blaster here, which I think is the exact same one that Bumblebee had. Let's take a look at that again. Again, kind of a different shade of silver, maybe a little bit darker silver. But yeah, it's not too different from Bumblebee, if I'm being honest. But I think he turned out pretty good. So transformation for Bumper here is going to be exactly the same as Bumblebee. We're going to start by clicking those arms so that they are at a full 90 degrees there. We are going to take the backpack piece and we are going to pop this up, which will kind of pop the head up a little bit. You can open up the chest here, and the head will actually pop out of the rest of this piece here, as you can see, and that will go all the way down into the chest and then close back up. And then that will allow you to just kind of leave this up there for now. Then we are going to pop out the entire arm piece here and bring the arms up like this, like so. And then we are going to swivel this around 180 degrees, like so. Then we're going to come down to the legs here, and these little black pieces will unhook like this and fold down. And then that will allow you to flip this panel on the back of the legs back. And then you can see that there's a little tab there. So then these will then come all the way up and store in like that. Do that again with the other one. Then this little piece here that they were pegged into will just fold underneath all the way. And then you can put the 2 feet together. And then you're going to kind of bring this down. This will actually, you can see that there's a peg here that will snap into place. And then you're going to kind of accordion the legs all the way in. So these will go like this, and then bend again, and keep bending until you bring these panels around to fill in the hole here for the front of the vehicle. And then you're going to just bring these down like so. And then the 2 arms will click into each other just like that. And then this little part will just pop up here and finish off the vehicle mode. And then honestly, in vehicle mode, it's almost completely indistinguishable from Bumblebee, if I'm being honest. I feel like this isn't clicked in all the way. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Now, the one thing I will say, and I don't remember if Bumblebee had the same issue, but they had to paint this piece because it was black. And you can see that the paint on the side view mirror here is a little messy. And on mine, it had like some fuzz. You know how sometimes when paint's wet, like fuzz gets in there. So I had to kind of clean that up a little bit. But you can see it's not quite rubbing off, but it's almost like they didn't give it enough, which is kind of a shame. And I'm trying to look at my copy of Bumblebee, and I guess they had to do the same thing, but it looks like they put a little bit more paint on there, so it's not coming through as bad. But just something to keep in mind. Not really much you can do about it, unfortunately, but yeah, he looks pretty good. Rolls well. You can store the gun here on the back. There's a little peg on the side, a little peg spot here, so you can just kind of pop this onto the back, kind of where the tire would normally go. So yeah, I think it's, still a good mold. I'm surprised we haven't gotten it as Cliff Jumper yet. I think we are eventually later on, either in Studio Series or Age of the Primes. I can't remember, but I think we've seen listings for that. So I'll be interested to see how this guy works. They'll have to give him a little spoiler for Cliff Jumper, but yeah, it's a good mold, and we just have it here again as Bumper. So looks pretty good. Next up, we have Toy Accurate Ultra Magnus. Now, of course, he does not come with a trailer of any kind. The original one did not either. So it's really just an all-white Optimus Prime. I guess if you wanted, you could pretend this is Optimus from The Return of Optimus Prime when he's trying to get the Matrix from Hot Rod. At least that's what I always did when I was a kid. But he's got some nice silver paint here, in the chest area. I think the head looks good. He's got the nice blue there for the crest and the face mask, and then the red there for the eyes, and that is light piping, so it's done in translucent plastic. Got a nice Autobot symbol here, even though unfortunately the pin does have to kind of go through it, but not really much they can do about that. But it has a nice silver backing, which is nice. Real rubber for the tires, which I think is a nice touch as well. I think the original had that. Let's just go ahead and bring the original in for the comparison. Yeah, he had the original, or the real rubber tires there as well. So I guess they did it a little bit lower than the pin, so I guess they could have moved that down a little bit, but still looks good. Cool to have these guys together. You can see he has the translucent orange axe piece, so Magnus has a translucent blue one. And then this Optimus came with 2 versions of the blaster, kind of a original toy accurate one, and then one that's a little bit more cartoon accurate. And I didn't really notice this before, and I'm wondering now, like, what color these were originally. Like, I wonder what, maybe they're red or blue from, I'm trying to think what sprue they'd be a part of, but they painted this one black. And so for Magnus, they painted it white. And they really had to cake on the white paint to achieve that. And I kind of just wish they had done them black again, because I really feel like black was fine. I don't know, but because they had to really cake the paint on, they almost have a hard time fitting into the hand, which is kind of a bummer. And I didn't really need them to be white. There's already so much white on this guy. I think blue would have been more fun. And like I said, I'm trying to figure out what sprue they were on, because if we look at Optimus, basically you have like the tiniest little bit of gray plastic and then blue plastic and red plastic. So it's possible they were like a light gray and they painted them black, which if they're on the same sprue, you think these would also be light gray. And I almost would rather they just have remained light gray, because it's just more white. And I think that would have at least broken it up. Or if they were light gray, maybe to paint them the same blue from the head, I think that would have really popped and looked cool. So, I don't know. I just think white was the wrong choice in terms of painting these, because they really had to cake it on to get that. And, you know, you can just tell when they have that kind of gloppy sheen, like they just had to put so much white paint. I mean, it worked. They came out white and they looked good for that. But I just think I didn't need more white. He's already so white. I would have liked even gray, but I would have loved blue. I think the blue would have really popped. But I just think, you know, leaving them gray probably would have been fine. Now, maybe they did white because, like, the original Ultra Magnus had a large white gun, but that's not either of these guns, and we're not getting the whole trailer. So I don't know. I think I would have just left them gray, or I really would have preferred blue. But I do like the translucent blue here for the axe. I think that looks good. That just pops into the hand very simply. Although this is a little snug as well, and I don't know why I have such trouble getting these out of here. There we go. But I do like this in the translucent blue, so that's really neat. We'll get Optimus out of here. I might just give, since Optimus has 2 black guns, I might just give one to Magnus here, just for that pop of color. But yeah, he looks good. It's a fun mold. I liked it back then. I still like it. Head looks good. Like I said, it's on a ball joint. Can look up a little bit, look down ever so slightly, certainly side to side. A little bit of tilt side to side as well. Nice swivel and hinge here at the shoulder. Got a bicep swivel and hinge there at the, I guess they're both technically part of the elbow. Nothing in the wrist because of how he transforms. This can kind of lift up, and these can go out to the side so that you can get the full range of motion, but you got a waist swivel there. You can kick forward, you can kick back, you can kick out to the side as long as you move those pieces. Got your thigh swivel there on a mushroom. 90 degrees at the knee, and then of course you got ankle tilt, really solid ankle tilt there, so no issues. But yeah, like I said, it was a fun mold. Did I need it again as Ultra Magnus? Not really. I don't know what else they would have done. You know, if they do Shattered Glass Prime or Nemesis Prime, you already have another Nemesis Prime in this set, so I understand why they did it as Ultra Magnus, but there's nothing wrong with it. I kind of wish it was something a little bit more exciting just because he's so white, but I do like the blue there on the face. All right, before we get into transformation, one other accessory that I forgot. He does have the Matrix, so you can pop open the chest, and he's got the Matrix there, done in the gray. And the fact that this is on the gray makes me think that those guns probably were done in the same kind of gray plastic. And I almost kind of wish they just left them. Although this almost looks translucent, so did they paint this silver? Yeah, I guess they did. I guess this is painted silver because it's got kind of a translucent quality to it on the back. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it has a nice little spot there to peg it in the chest, and then you can close it up. So I do appreciate that. Now, transformation, very similar. Well, I should say very simple. It's exactly the same as the one we saw for Prime, but you're going to open this up. You're going to rotate the head around, close that up. You're going to take the arms, they're going to kind of go out to the side, and then you're going to just swivel this piece around and then close it back up. And so that way it kind of completes the truck part and hides the fist. So do that, swivel, close it up. Then you're going to kind of straighten out the legs, make sure you straighten out the ankle tilt if you have that engaged. Peg this all together. Then you can flip the feet down. Then you can close these pieces back. Make sure that they're all locked in. That way, just like every Optimus Prime toy you've ever transformed, for the most part, you're going to put the arms back and then bring the arms in. Just like so. And then just bring this up. And this will all kind of click. You can see that there's like a tiny little notch there that the canister will kind of pop into. But yeah, there is Ultra Magnus, cab only, in vehicle mode. You can store the weapons. So you can pop this on here. And then you can put these here and here. And they kind of, again, barely because there's so much paint on them, but you can do it. He rolls decently. Those rubber tires are nice. I do appreciate that. So yeah, all in all, pretty much exactly what you'd expect from a G1-esque cab transformation, Optimus Prime / Ultra Magnus repaint. But yeah, it works well. I think it looks good. Next, we'll move on to the, we'll say, most unique figure in this assortment, and that is the Decepticon Junior Headmaster Horri-Bull. Now, I say mostly unique because he is a retool / repaint of Skullcruncher from Titan's Return back in the day. You can kind of tell because of the, like, crocodile scaling that we have going on the back here and on the front of the legs that obviously a bull would not have, but I guess they couldn't take that out. You can kind of see that the torso is pretty much the same. The arms are pretty much the same because, you know, these are kind of the front claws, I guess, of the crocodile, but it kind of works for Horri-Bull as well. And the legs back here are pretty much the same as well. So not a super extensive retool, but I feel like they did a good enough job that when you first look at this, you don't immediately see a crocodile. So I think they did a good enough job with that. But yeah, I really think he looks good. Head sculpt looks pretty good there. You have the stats here on the chest, which looks nice. I love the look of the horns over here. But you can see the little spots right here. Unfortunately, these were attached in a sprue in the box. And so you have to cut them out of the sprue, and then it leaves these little paint divots there, which is really a shame. There's also two you can see right there and right there. Luckily, these are never really front and center, depending on the orientation. But these ones are. Now, if you really wanted, you could swap them around, but then you'd kind of see the paint divots more in the beast mode as opposed to the robot mode. But it's up to you. You can unpeg these and switch them around so that you see that a little bit less. But yeah, for the most part, I think he looks pretty good. Like I said, you really can't tell immediately that this was a crocodile at one point. But let's go ahead and bring in his compatriots. And now we have the full Decepticon Junior Headmaster set here. As a huge Master Force fan, I'm very excited about this. Unfortunately, my Fangry still has that problem with his knee joints not being super strong, but it gets the job done, and we have all three of these now done. Hopefully, like I said, we can get back to the Autobot Junior Headmasters now. We have Minerva. She's okay, but she's not even really a headmaster, so hopefully they can give us those three. We also need the Autobot Junior Target Masters, but I feel like now is the time for those because they could probably pretty easily retool / repaint the Studio Series Constructicons to get those. I think that's probably... I put a picture up on my Twitter the other day with like a side-by-side comparison of the original Autobot Junior Target Master and the new Studio Series Constructicon counterpart, and I feel like that could happen, so maybe we'll finally start to fill some of these end-of-the-line gaps, hopefully. But I love seeing these three together. I mean, Squeeze Play is definitely still my favorite out of the three. I think he just came out so perfectly in his robot mode, but I like Horri-Bull here. I think it works, and having the three together looks fantastic, especially for my Master Force display, which is going to be really cool. So, going to take these guys back off to the side, and we'll take a look here. So, this is a Titan Master, so you're going to have that same level of articulation, which mostly just means he's a bobblehead, but you can turn side to side. You can look up, you can look down. Now we'll take the head off, and the only problem I have with this, I don't know if the Titans Return molding is getting a little mold fatigue, but like I said, I love the head. I mean, the red eyes are a little sunk under that big kind of brim that he's got there, but the gold for the face mask looks pretty good. The silver does kind of bleed onto it a little bit, which is kind of a shame, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how the head design turned out. But you can kind of see the legs don't like really want to bend all the way, and these joints are definitely kind of messed up. So if I try to like just stand him up normally, luckily this has a pin in it because it doesn't really feel like it wants to, and I accidentally like popped this off just by trying to move it around, and the knees here are very tight. So yeah, I don't know, it's not the best. It gets the job done. And I think they just painted the entire head just gold there. There's almost no detail in the tiny face, which is kind of a bummer. But it is so small that you're not really going to see it. But it really just looks like they just caked some gold paint on there, and he's got no discernible facial features whatsoever. But at least he's a headmaster. I appreciate that. And then we will sit him like this so we can put him inside in a moment, but that's it for him. Getting back to the body here, you have a nice big ball joint there in the shoulder, so it goes out to the side, can move all the way around. Got the bicep swivel there, got the 90 degrees there in the elbow. Nothing in the wrist because it's going to fold into the forearm. Got a waist swivel here, and you can see this part's done in the blue plastic. It moves around. This is the little compartment where you can put the Titan Master. Kick pretty far forward. Hit into that, so you stop about there going backwards. Kick out to the side, no problem. Got the thigh swivel. Got kind of a double jointed knee here, so you got some nice movement. And then you have ankle tilt, like so. So yeah, overall, pretty good. The blasters, I think they also did a nice job with, because the original guy had like a tail like this that was a blaster, so I think that came out pretty good. And then I think this is probably the same standard blaster that Skull Cruncher came with, if I had to guess. It's been a minute, but I think that looks about right. So yeah, overall, like I said, I think this works. You got the bull head here. We'll take a little bit closer look at that in a moment once we do transformation, but yeah, I think this came out pretty good actually. So transformation is probably pretty much exactly what you expect. You're going to flip out these panels here on the bottom of the feet, and they can weirdly like get stuck. So you might have to kind of like pull it down a little bit just to clear this part of the toe. But once you have those, then you can go ahead and pop this together. And then we are going to fold down the bull head, and that will peg in to where like the head, you can see that it has two connections on the side of where you would peg in the Titan Master. So, and then we're going to straighten out the horns here. Then we're just going to kind of bring the arms forward and spin them at the where the blue meets the gray, and then fold that fist in like that, and then just kind of bring that down. So once again, spin this, tuck the fist back, and then bring that down. And then we'll kind of position these in a little bit, but you can see that there are kind of two tabs here on the sides. They don't really look like tabs. They kind of look like spikes, but they are going to kind of tab in softly to these little slots here on the side after we bring this around with that double jointed knee. And you can also see that it, like these little spots here of the toes will kind of fit into where this like little half circle cutout is. So you want to kind of make sure that goes in there and bring these down all the way like that, so you can see how it kind of completes that circle there. And then you can kind of bring these in, and they just kind of peg against the sides. And then you're going to straighten out the back legs. You have a little bit of movement here, so you can kind of position them how you want, but essentially like that. And then you're just going to kind of tuck these up like so. And then we're going to take the two guns and we are going to peg them together like so. And then these two little tabs here are going to slide into these two little spots right here. So this is just going to slide down like that. And then the last step is to just pop this open and put our little Titan Master inside and close it up. And there we go. We have Horri-Bull in his bull mode. Let me adjust this here. It's not bad. I mean, it could be better. I really like the bull head. I think that looks great. Really nicely molded. I like the silver painted teeth there. You can open the mouth. Now, they didn't paint the bottom row of teeth, but I think that's okay. Would have been nice if they did, but I really like the eyes. I think they came out great. I love the horns. Like I said, I just wish they didn't have those paint divots from having to cut them off of the sprue. That's kind of a real bummer. But other than that, I think he looks pretty good. It gets the job across. He definitely looks like the bull that I remember. And like I said, you can kind of play around with the arms however you want to. These are obviously going to have the same level of articulation as when they were arms because you've done almost nothing to change them. And then you have this little bit of movement here in the hind legs. And technically you can move these in and out a little bit if you want, but mostly they're just going to click into place and then stay there. So you just kind of want to get these about level. But you could also have him kind of, you know, rearing up a little higher if you want. It's up to you. But yeah, for the most part, I think it works. And then last, but, well, maybe least, we have Nemesis Prime done out of Transformers Animated Optimus Prime. And there's nothing wrong with the mold. I mean, I still think it's a solid mold. It was good when it came out, you know, as Optimus Prime from Animated. I just don't know that I needed it as Nemesis Prime. They've already done it as Motor Master, which I didn't bother with. And if this wasn't part of this 4-pack, I probably wouldn't have picked this one up either. Now, again, not that there's anything wrong with it. It's a good mold. The Nemesis Prime color scheme, the colors work for a reason. You know, they definitely look good here. I will say that this almost comes off a little bit more green than teal. Almost it's like Kamen Rider colors, if I'm being honest. It's kind of that deep tealish green and red, as opposed to, I always feel like Nemesis Prime kind of takes its original color scheme from Black Convoy, which was, what was it called here? Scourge, first time around in Car Robots / Robots in Disguise. And that was definitely like a neon pink and a very bright teal. And I feel like over time that has kind of become, I think when that toy was released here, they changed the pink to like a deep blood red, which has obviously stayed. And now the green, or I should say the teal, is getting a little bit more green than teal. So I don't know. Now that I kind of look at this as like a Kamen Rider homage, maybe I like it a little bit more. We'll see. But Decepticon symbol there on the shoulder does pop. I love that they outlined it in white so it really stands out against the black. That's really nice. Head sculpt, you know, still good. They gave him a nice silver face mask there. Again, with that kind of green and red. Definitely looking more Ichigo than Black Convoy, if I'm being honest. And then you have the translucent red axe here. And this can either be held short like this, or if we take this out of his hand, well, I guess I don't even have to take it out. You can extend it and have him wield this with 2 hands if you prefer. It's kind of a snug fit, if I'm being honest, but there we go. So you can have it as either a long axe or a short axe, whichever you prefer. I usually end up going with the short axe, but I do like the fact that it can telescope like that. And I would imagine that this whole piece here was done in translucent red, and then this was painted black, and then I think this is a silver second piece of kind of a gunmetal gray plastic. But yeah, overall, looks cool. You can attach it to the back here if you want. So it kind of looks like he's wearing it over his shoulder, which I do think looks kind of cool. I like that. Otherwise, you know, it's animated Optimus Prime. Just with a new color scheme, really nothing has changed. If we bring in... Actually, I guess I'm wrong. The head sculpt is different. I forgot he didn't have his mask the first time around. So it looks like they just molded the face mask on there. Otherwise, I think it's the same head sculpt. But I do like Animated Prime better without it. I think he really works without it. It's funny, when I was looking at this, I felt like that silver mask really did jump out, and I was wondering why, and now I remember he doesn't have the mask. But I think he definitely needed the mask. I don't think he would have looked as good without it, but I love him without it. I'm getting some weird camera focus there, but yeah, otherwise it's the same exact toy. So the head's just slightly different. But again, it's not a bad toy. I just don't know that I needed a Nemesis Prime repaint. But now that I have it, I'll enjoy it, I guess. So articulation-wise, head can look down a little bit, can look up a little bit, turn side to side, tilt side to side a little bit. You have a pretty strong mushroom joint there for the shoulder. So that moves around. You can also hinge out to the side. You got a nice bicep swivel there. Double jointed elbows because of the transformation. Wrist swivel. Got the waist swivel there. Kick forward, kick back, kick out to the side. Thigh swivel, I would say 120 maybe there at the knee. And then you got the ankle tilt. So good articulation. It's a solid mold. I mean, I loved it the first time around. I thought they did a really nice job. And I love how compact, like he really doesn't have any kibble. I mean, yeah, he's got the wheels down here, but they're not even really in the way. And, you know, the chest and everything compacts so nice and tightly and everything looks clean. And I've always appreciated that. I do like how the green goes all the way around to the back of the head. That's pretty good. And he's fallen over. He is a little top heavy, but he can stand, I promise. Let's get into his transformation. So being the only Voyager in the box, obviously he's going to have a much more intricate transformation than the others. But we're going to start by opening up the forearms here so that the hand can fold inside. And I don't know why, I just find it so gratifying that the angle of the hand sits so completely flush with that piece. I don't know why, I love that very much. So we pop this open, fold this hand in, and then close that up. And then we are going to kind of pop up the backpack section here and kind of pop down the chest section here. We're going to come to the legs and we are going to kind of, hold on, this part pops out first. So we'll flip down the legs, or the feet rather. Then this part of the leg is going to pop out like so and stretch straight like that, and then this is going to bend like that. So once again, we will pop this section all the way out and then bend this like so, and then you can peg the two legs together there right around the knees like that. So we'll kind of let this chill for a moment. Then we will kind of pull these away slightly so that we can kind of bring this out. And then we are going to rotate at this mushroom peg here 180 degrees, which can be a little annoying, but you can move the pieces around as you need. And there we go. At this point, we are going to bring the arms around 180 and then kind of put them out to the side like so. So spin them around and then out to the side like that. You can go ahead and I apologize, my camera's getting crazy. You can see that there's a large tab here and a tab spot there. So this is going to use that double jointed elbow to peg in to itself like that. And then you're going to use these shoulder pieces to put this all the way up. And then these will come down and fill in that section there. So got to do the other arm over here. And then once you have that all set, you're going to bring the chest piece up. Now these little tabs right here and here will tab in right here and right there. And then you have these spots, if it'll focus, right here and right here. And there are tabs right here and here. So all this will come up. That will tab in. And sometimes I have a little bit of difficulty with this, just like getting the angles and everything right. But I think you have to take the arms and I think they have to snap in. There you go. So if you do that, snap this in, then it will give you the right angle to peg all of this in together. There we go. And then you can bring this around and close that up on top. So that's pretty much the whole cab there. Then you're going to take the leg pieces, and they will flip around. And you can see that there's like where the mushroom peg is, there's actually like a slot, and then these pieces are going to tab into that. So get that all situated and snapped in. Make sure that this is pegged back in, because that'll probably pop out. And then you're going to bring these up, and you can see that there are 2 little peg holes there, and there are 2 little pegs on the feet right there and there. So this will come around and peg in. And then once that's all done, you can see that there are 2 large tabs right here and here, which will peg in right there and there. So that just comes up and snaps in. And there you go. You have Nemesis animated, Nemesis Prime, in his vehicle mode. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I've always thought that the feet up here is... I know they couldn't really do much else with them, but I've always thought that looks a little goofy. But the cab, I think, looks amazing. I mean, the way they have this transform and compact so nicely. You have the green running all the way around, the translucent red for the front windows, but then they painted the side windows. Still has the light bar. Now, if you don't like the light bar, if you think, you know, Nemesis Prime might not help anybody, you could take the light bar off and you could just have it without. It's not really going to do anything without it. So you do have that option, which is nice. But yeah, it's a good color scheme. I can't complain about that. And then you can go ahead and attach this on here. I think this attaches like this. Just pegs into the bottom of the foot. And you can store the weapon there on the back. Rolls pretty well. Yeah, overall, looks pretty sharp. So at the end of the day, I think it's a pretty good 4-pack. Obviously, my favorite character in this 4-pack is going to be Horri-Bull, because I'm a little biased. I'm a huge Master Force fan, and I've been wanting them to complete the Decepticon Junior Headmasters. Very happy with how he turned out, and happy to have that team done. Please now move on to the Autobot Junior Headmasters. So yeah, I'm a little biased, but he's definitely my favorite out of the pack. The Nemesis Prime, I've warmed up to it a little bit, I have to admit. I mean, at the end of the day, they always put in one Voyager in these 4-packs. And last time we got like a barely repaint of Tarn, and they said it was because, oh, people missed out on Tarn, so here's a slight repaint, but then they re-released the regular Tarn as well. So I don't know. That one was really boring. This at least is a distinct repaint, you know, faction change even for animated Prime. So I would definitely rather have this than like a slight repaint of Tarn. If it was sold on its own, would I buy it? Probably not. But now that I have it, I don't mind having it. I do think it looks sharp, and I've kind of forgotten how good of a mold animated Prime was. So it was fun to kind of revisit that in a new way. So again, would I have bought it separately? Probably not, but I definitely don't mind having it. I think it turned out pretty good. The Ultra Magnus from the Toy Accurate Optimus is fine. Again, if it was on its own, would I have bought it? Probably not. But I like having it. I think it looks good. I do wish that they hadn't done the guns in white, because they had to really slop on that paint, and it's a little bit too thick now and a little difficult for them to hold. I would have liked them to just be, if they came in light gray, I think that would have been fine, or maybe the blue at least for a pop of color. But it was a good mold then. It's still a good mold, so I had fun with that. It's kind of the same way I feel about Bumper. It's really just maybe a couple different shades of the same colors as Bumblebee and a new head, so not a ton new or interesting going on there, but it's a good mold. And I think it's kind of funny, I was thinking about this, I feel like these 4-packs always have like some version of Bumblebee, you know, like I feel like we've had Bumper before when it was back with the Earthrise mold. We've had Goldbug out of that mold as well. So I feel like there's always some kind of version of Bumblebee in these Target 4-packs. And, you know, this guy's fine. Is he the most exciting thing ever? No. They might even, you know, do this one as Goldbug in a future Target 4-pack, because I feel like they like to either put Bumblebee again, slightly painted differently, or Bumper or Goldbug when we look at the history of these Target 4-packs. And then I feel like, you know, they've been doing kind of one new character, and then this is kind of taking the place of like the what's her name? Black Arachnia or Tarantulas repaints that we've been seeing. So, you know, one easy repaint, a Bumblebee, a new figure, and then a Voyager repaint seems to be kind of the formula. So it's got, when I think about like which 4-pack has been my favorite, you know, they all have different things that I like. But I think overall this one's fairly solid. I've come to appreciate it more during the review than I thought I was going to. Because initially I was like, well, I want this. I don't really care about the other three. But the other three have definitely grown on me. And if you're a Transformers fan picking this up, I think they'll grow on you as well. Now, do you want to gamble? These are starting to show up at Target. Do you want to get it now for full price? Historically, these usually do go on clearance, so you could play that game. If you could get this thing, I think it was $90, I want to say. When you think about what these cost now, even before the price hike, you're looking at $35, $25, that's $60. Another 25 is 85. Well, really, all these are these are all the same price point, by the way. These are 3 different deluxes. Can you just take a minute to breathe, to drink that in and think about that? The 3 different sizes, all the same price point. So 75, 35, you know, that's already $110. So you're basically getting a deluxe for free when you buy this 4-pack, if you think about it like that, which is nice. Now, when you think about the price hike, it's an even better deal. So do you want to jump on it before they may raise the price? Do you want to play the game and wait for Target? Or for Target clearance? If you could get this set for like $50, I think it's an absolute steal, because then you're essentially getting the Voyager and one of the deluxes for free. So even at full price, I think the price is reasonable. If you want to wait for Target clearance, I think it'll be an absolute steal. So that's going to be up to you. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who's your favorite out of this set? Are you picking it up? Are you waiting for clearance? Do you think it's a fairly good set? Too many easy repaints? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much.